I want to have a conversation about what it takes to become a better real estate investor, because I think there are some things that are must do, must have. We're going to break those down first. But before we do that, as a part of the hub call, we're going to check in with Matt, the mortgage guy, and talk about what's going on with all things mortgages. Rates up, rates down, demand up, demand down. Lots of things going on. What do you got, Matt?
Yeah, the latest term for it is demand has stabilized, right?
Okay.
As rates were high, so demand was waning, which, if anybody who's followed real estate for any length of time knows, as we get deeper into the winter, like mortgage demand falls. And there's no surprise there. And so with this recent kind of rates tick down, they're saying mortgage demand has stabilized. And from my perspective, talking to people on the front lines, there's a lot of people that are filling out applications. They're interested in buying. They're not going to buy just anything. And so with limited inventory, there's a lot of markets out there where if there was more 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Roseville, California for sale, I've got 7, 8, 10 buyers that would have bought already, right? They're just not going to buy just anything. And unfortunately it's tough for buyers because then that stuff comes on the market. There's 80 people that like that house and only one person's going to end up closing on it. So it has an upward pressure on prices when there's such limited inventory. But refinance demand, as anyone can guess, when rates come down, has gone up quite a bit. All those year-over-year numbers are wild, and we're
175%. I'd say that's wild. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and then I'm sure that week-on-week number is going to calm down after we see 20% jump.
Yeah,
from one
last
week
week
to the
20%
next.
week on week. Woo.
But what's funny is I had a conversation this morning, Mike, and here's a PSA for anyone listening, a public service announcement. Rates might be flat for the rest of the year. And so anybody who comes across a refinance scenario that makes sense, there's a lot of refinance demand that unfortunately the human psyche says, oh yeah, you've seen it come down to 6.125. Wait a little bit longer, you'll get 5.99. Wait a little longer, you'll go to 5.875. And it just might not happen, right? I think that's the thing that is hard for people to understand. Trajectory of mortgage rates over the next year or two, down.
Yeah.
From today to tomorrow, and even tomorrow through December, you might stay flat, right? And then it might be that something happens early next year and there's something the Fed does or something the Fed says or a inflation number or an economic number that sees us go down to 5.8. And then, it's not a straight line. It's not guaranteed that it's all going to happen like 0.1% per day or whatever. And so that'll be interesting to see. But, for the purchase side, it's interesting. There's competing factors. The time of year, demand is going to decrease because not as many people buy in the winter time. And then you've got the upward pressure of rates are a little bit lower, a little bit more attractive to people. So they're jumping back in the game. So I think it's probably, in my opinion, going to be a more active Q4 than some, but that's not saying much, right? It's not going to be a summertime type.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a tweet, I guess, from Logan Matsushima from Housing Wire, and he highlighted that purchase demand is up 5 weeks in a row, right? That's called a trend. But most importantly, last week was the first time it went positive year on year. Right. Wow. So for the first time, it's gone year on year. So rates matter. That said, I still think we're in a buyer's market. I think supply outpaces demand for the foreseeable future, meaning through January 15th. The big question for me is, what happens January 15th? What happens February 15th? I have a sneaky suspicion that this spring selling season might surprise a lot of folks. So we'll just keep staying in touch. You and I talk every week. So we'll move on from that. Let's talk being a
before we get into it, Mike. What type of surprises do you foresee?
Well, I think so. Let's kind of talk it this way. I think rates are going to stabilize, but they're going to be just under 6. Call it 5.9, 5.95, something like that. And I think they could be flat for most of the year. I don't see rates going to 5.25 like a lot of people see. I see the yield curve drastically de-inverting and the slope being much more severe, short into long term. And not a lot of people are used to that, right? We had an inverted yield curve for 2 years, and I think people got spoiled. and distracted. That's not supposed to happen. So I think mortgage rates will be higher than the experts think. I do think they'll be below 6, which will be psychological. And then second, as I've said for a long time, you get a 5, 9, 30-year mortgage that unlocks meaningful marginal demand. It does almost nothing for marginal supply, right? In order to get marginal supply back, I believe you need 4.9, not 5.9. But you'll have some, but not a lot. So I think the spring selling season is going to see, um, yeah, more demand. It's going to be more demand on the low end, entry level housing. It's
Yeah, it's
going to
tough.
be
I mean, that I
interesting.
like without even saying words, Mike, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like
Yeah,
buyers that are, having the hardest time getting in the market are going to have a tough time going forward because sub 500, there's only so many homes that we're not going to get, this big flood of new stuff coming to the market because there's just no reason why it would all of a sudden appear now. Like you said, like 599 is not going to get a lot of move up buyers to move. And so it's going to continue to be hard for those buyers, which it's funny. I had this conversation with a client who's buying something at 350. So
mm,
it's entry level. And she was worried about the future price of the home. And I said, you know what? Like, I don't make guarantees, but I'd feel really good if I were you. If you were buying a house that was 1.3 million,
yeah,
there's some chance that you might see some,
yeah. Hiccup.
down 100 grand 2 years from now. Who knows, right?
Right.
But buying for 350, there is so much demand and there's such little inventory out there for sale that like
Yeah.
the fact that you wouldn't be able to sell that for a profit 3 or 5 years from now is very, very low.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about being a better investor. We're just about to enter Q4. I think there's a lot of people that want to be real estate investors, a lot of people kicking the tires. I think there's a couple of things you have to do. And there's a couple of things I'm working on to help people do that. But why don't you talk about one of the best things you've seen to become a better real estate investor? What's something somebody should do?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around real estate investing for a long time. I mean, a decade. We'll call it a decade, right? And that means online forums. That means in-person meetups. That means different events and friend groups that have similar type goals. And I think that the very best thing, like the cool part about 2024, is there's tons of information online, and so you don't have to travel 45 minutes to a meetup. You don't have to, leave your home if you don't want to be around other like-minded investors. There's nothing better. Like if you wanted to get really fit, if you hang out with 5 people that are also trying to get fit and actively doing something to get fit, you've got a better likelihood than hanging out with the Cupcake Club or some other club, right? And so, a community like this great community you built on school, where people are collaborating, they're helping each other. People can love Mike Zuber. People can love me and Ty and others that are contributors. They're helping each other. I think that
Right.
you'd agree with that, Mike, as much of any of us can help because, oh yeah, I've invested in that market. Oh yeah, I tried that thing that you're looking to do. And so they're gleaning all this information off somebody who just happens to have done what they're looking to do. Anything you do in life, the best
Mhm.
way to do it is find someone who's doing what you want to do and ask them questions.
Yeah.
And with the school community, Mike, like I see it every day and it's super cool. Like
Yeah.
you are the type of person I know who loves to add value. You love to get in there and, hold a webinar. And I like to do the same. I think a lot of people in there like to do the same, but it's cool to see the magic where the community is helping
Yeah.
each other grow and they're jumping in. They're saying, here's my 2 cents. Here's what I've seen. Here's what I did.
Yeah. The beauty of the school community is once we got to 200, I no longer have to poke it, right? When you're building a community from scratch, the creator, the person at the top's a lot of heavy lifting. It takes so much momentum to get that boulder to start moving. But as soon as we got to 200, it was game changing. I'm no longer the most active. In fact, I would guess I'm not even the top 10 most active. The other thing that we see in, I want to shout out Frank, Jared, and Alex, I believe. No, Max, forgive me. Max is the third name, Max, who have all reached out to me and said, Michael, I want to create an accountability group. And again, I want to be clear. I have never made any of these accountability group calls because they're not in my time zone, right? They don't fit my schedule. I record content 8, 9, 10, and I'm out. I'm doing the rest of my life. And I think it's amazing that we have go-givers who speak my vocabulary, who are doing the work, who are holding weekly calls. And then we have my millionaires back monthly, right? You schedule a call, I think it's the last Friday of the month.
Yep.
Talk all things mortgage. Ty does a monthly call on creative financing. I have weekly calls that go up, maybe with Anna or Matt or Dion or whoever. We are adding value every day, every week, every month because we care. But the beauty of school is it's becoming its own thing, right? It will get to a point where it just runs by itself. That's where I'm trying to get to. I think in 5 years, Matt, my one rental at a time school community could be the thing I'm most known for. Right now, it's probably my book, right? It's probably the thing if I were to die tomorrow, the book would be the thing that people talk about, bestseller, yada, yada, yada. But I think school, I'm trying to make school that thing, right? Help more people change lives for the positive. So yeah, providing that platform, shout out Alex Ramosi and team for doing that. I'm having fun. And just today, we are now the third highest rated real estate investing school. There are 300 schools about real estate investing. We are in the top 1%. We currently have the bronze medal, but I will not stop until we have the gold medal. And
Nice.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
What's the member count currently?
282.
282. What's your goal by the end of 2025?
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah. I think 1,000 is a cool number because, like you said, there's momentum that builds at 200, and the more the merrier, because that's the beauty of it. And I love the fact that, super affordable. Like,
oh, $20. Come on.
You'd spend $20 in gas going to a real estate meetup, and it's $20
Yeah.
a month to get in here with, the special guests you have on and all the other value from the other members. And this is gonna be more magic at 1,000. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that because there really is nothing more valuable for an investor trying to get better than being around other investors. And that's the cool part too. What I think people miss is if you created a free Facebook group and you said, we're going to talk about real estate investing, like just that small little barrier of entry, you've got to be vested in this. Like, it separates. You could have 100,000 kind of care about it sometimes.
Right.
Give me the 282 that are signed up and they're willing to pay for it. Give me all those. And those are the people you want to rub shoulders with.
It's game changing.
Yeah.
The $20 means almost nothing to me, but it is just high enough to keep the trolls away. Right. We only have people doing the work. And that's why the community is full of go-givers. Right. That's what makes it powerful. If you go look at real estate investing on school, most communities are $99. I think that's too high. Why is mine not $99? You want the honest answer? I don't want to work that hard. If I was asking for $100 a month from you, I would have to over deliver like 4 or 5. I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
$20, all I got to do is what I'm doing already. Give you a weekly phone call with a millionaire, go live once a month, add some free courses, monitor the group to make sure there's no bad actors. I'm good to go. Why is it $20? Keep out the trolls, and I don't have to work that hard. That is the answer.
Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of people in there that are newer on their journey, and, they're saving their first down payment. I have conversations with these people that are real people, and, what a gift for them to make it affordable enough where they're going to be around people that have 100 units. They're going to be around people that have done exactly what they're looking to do. And like you said, they're go-givers trying to help. And so that's going to help that person. It's not going to eat into them saving their first 20 grand for a property. And so in that way, it's super cool. And that's why I love a lot of the stuff about the one rental at a time community, the cheering for each other, helping each other out, sending out the postcards. That stuff is all cool. Yeah. And, that low barrier of entry helps, because I realize, because I'm talking to some of these people, it's a huge deal to buy the first one. And, but the cool part is they're going to do it after 4 months instead of 4 years,
Yeah.
not being involved in the community. And honestly, some people that don't get themselves involved and around the right people might never do it.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm really coming to love now that we're approaching 300 is we have people posting wins in areas I have zero experience. I have never done rent by room. We have people posting real live numbers. I have never done short-term rental. We have people posting real live numbers. I've never done midterm rentals. People are post. So again, as long as I continue to be that positive and consistent push, more and more people will be attracted to that message. And the community is already better than me. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Why don't we switch gears from an online community to an in-person, in real life event, February 15th and 16th in Vegas? I trust you're going to be there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be there for sure. Wouldn't miss it. You know, I do a bunch of different events, and when I tell people, you know, I don't say it just to blow smoke. Like, this event was so special because there's true sense of community. You know, you might go to other events for whatever, you know, people do, whether it's real estate investing or for their career. And, you know, people are there, they're jotting down notes, and they're, you know, hoping to leave better than they came. This event was, you know, anything you do, it's the people are more important than anything. Information,
Yes.
great. A lot of stuff about the event, great. Creating relationships, and like you said, people are creating accountability groups. People are, you know, rooting for each other. Like, that's really, really cool. I thought about some of the great conversations I had at that event, and somebody from the One Rental at a Time community just had a birthday, and I said, "Oh, I forgot that you shared a birthday with my sister, September 21st. Happy birthday, Chris." And, you know, had it not been for that event, talked to him, helped him do a purchase and all that. But meeting people in person, having a personal relationship, there's that, you know,
Yeah.
brings it to another level. And so all these people that are involved, you know, listening to your calls in the school community, meeting in person, having a 20-minute conversation face to face, it just cements that. And
Yep.
that's where, you know, people are going to really start to thrive, because real estate is a people business at the end of the day.
No doubt. No doubt. It is people business. And again, we're taking a lot of the goodness from episode, year one into year two. I'm having couples lead off day one and day two. Jason and Jen did an amazing job. So I have couples starting both days, which I think is really, really cool. Um, we're going to have an awards ceremony. I want to recognize people in the audience that did good for One Rental at a Time. I want to do that. We're going to have a millionaire panel, a tools panel, a lender panel, like you'll be on. Again, and the other thing that makes my event special is every speech has audience questions. I don't want people death by PowerPoint. There will be absolutely nobody selling anything, right? Again, it'll be, here's a story. Here's what Michael wanted me to focus on. Now line up and ask questions. Yeah, I can't believe it. And again, it is Las Vegas. It is President's Day weekend. People, you should buy your tickets now so that travel is cheaper, right? Flights and hotels are cheaper now. If you book later in the year or next year, they will be more expensive. So buy now, book travel now, save yourself some money. Any closing thoughts about school and or our in real life event?
If you're not involved, I encourage you to get involved with the community as a whole. You know, that means school. That means the in-person event. If you can make it to the in-person event, it's a phenomenal event. And trust me, I've been to
Yeah,
over 100 of events, and it's one of my favorites. And yeah, that's the best advice to any real estate investor. You want to get better in Q4. You want to have a better 2025. Get around other like-minded investors.
exactly.
The school community, the One Rental at a Time community, is phenomenal because there's people in there that truly want to help. There's a lot of people, and you're at the head of that. And I think your vibe attracts more people like you. They don't need to do anything for the rest of their life when it comes to real estate investing. They're actively involved in the community, and maybe they're still doing some deals here and there. But what lights them up more than anything else is helping somebody else. Seeing
Exactly.
somebody buy their first property, seeing somebody turn a thought of something maybe that was a far out goal or something they didn't think was possible and make it happen, I know for a fact for most of us, like that is more rewarding than, you know, me closing a record month in mortgage, or even, you know, a personal deal that me and my wife could buy. Like seeing somebody do it is rewarding. So those are the type of people you want to be around.
Absolutely. Folks, one of the biggest things you can do to become a better real estate investor is get around other real estate investors. I work very, very hard to bring you daily content on this YouTube channel, now spinning up the soon to be #1 real estate investing school on school. And I put on the most impactful real estate event, which will be capped at 400. The facility will not hold more than 400. So there are no tickets after all of that are sold, and VIP is more than half sold out. So you want to be a part of that, network with the speakers. That is the place to go. If somebody wanted to get a quote on mortgage, review a mortgage, do anything like that, Matt, where do they go?
Go to Oh, I don't know
Where'd
what I
that
was
come
gonna
from?
say. Greatmortgagebroker.com.
Greatmortgagebroker.com.
Yeah.
Greatmortgagebroker.com. All right, buddy. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Mike.